Welcome to Synced on Air. I'm your host, Angelique Robb, and today I have Federico Trejo. Yeah, hopefully I said that right. I was trying to practice
Yes,
before the call. How are you, Federico?
I'm doing good. I'm actually a little surprised when we have overcast skies here in Dallas, Texas today, and the temperature is 75, so we're not in the 90s.
What? That is unusual. Maybe that's this
It
cold
is.
front that's coming
Oh,
through. I
yes.
didn't know if we would really get it in the South. Sometimes we don't,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, yeah, no,
the cool
sometimes we
weather
don't.
doesn't touch us.
Yes, exactly. We get to see it pass by, but we still have that heat and humidity.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and you're a bit further north than me up in Dallas.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited. We just met this week and realized that we have all these people in common.
Yes.
And when I heard about what you're doing in Dallas, I just thought it's really a great backstory of your career and what you've what you're doing in Dallas, and to talk about your you know white glove business over there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Maybe you could fill in the listeners some of the stuff that we talked about the other day, and then we can dive into the details because I think it'll be really inspiring to hear what you're doing. So, for our listeners. So,
Yeah, I mean, we're a very high-end landscape company here in Dallas, Texas. I I'd like to say we specialize in the white glove, touch for these
mhm.
clients. It's a very niche market, but also it's very rewarding with them because we're able to actually do true horticultural practices, actually do landscaping, and not just, do as most people think of us as a mow, blow, and go kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, being able to do like you stated, being able to do what I actually learned in college, being able to grow this, and at least try and put my little piece of the sand into the whole landscape environment.
Well, I think what you've done with you've recently taken over this
Yes.
business. Is that how you would say it? But you're really, um, you've given it your own name.
Yes.
And let me see if I can say it right. Tierra Viva Landscapes?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Maybe you should give us the background of the business because you have your
So,
hands full with
of course,
taking this
yes.
on.
Yeah, so I mean, a quick backstory of it. So I was hired on to come to another company to be their general manager and help grow them, lead them. And that company had been bought out by a private investment group about 3 years ago. So starting out, as anything else, looking at their P&L, trying to figure out how to establish myself and establish that company to grow, I started to build those relationships. Well, behind the scenes, what I did not know what was happening with the private equity was they had other plans, which again was surprising. But I was told one day at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday, hey, you need to shut this down in 72 hours. We're going bankrupt. And so I had 72 hours to figure out what to do. And so, I took the crazy decision. I had ran the P&L, I'd run everything and saw that my branch was extremely profitable. We were doing great things. And so I decided to go into my K and say, hey, you know, you only live once, try this out. And so I
Wow.
within, you know, telling customers to believe in us, telling customers that, I was going to try and maintain everything as close as possible, and build that trust quickly, going from Wednesday 3 p.m. till Monday 6 a.m. where I'm running my own company and having my crews.
It's
It's
crazy.
yes. So I was it was a little it was scary. It's still scary today. I mean, being an entrepreneur, it's a scary feeling, but you know, you learn, you have to go with it, and you have to have faith in yourself to do this, and it's the way that I like to look at it. It's a living organism the same way that landscape is. It's ever evolving and it's ever changing. So all we can do is try our best and, you know, try and raise the bar every day. And so I've tried to raise this bar for my clients so they can see that they're getting, what they pay for, and also raising the bar to build even bigger trust with them so we can grow and grow steadily, but also selectively. So we do not dilute what we bring to the market and what we bring to our clients.
Love that. But I have to go back a bit because did you know that you wanted to own your own company at some point?
Yes.
Okay.
So if we go all the way back, so I technically I had owned a company before. So and you and I hadn't discussed this before, but so the way that I got into the landscape world was my father worked for a builder in Atlanta,
Okay.
and I actually wanted to buy myself an Xbox, and my father told me, well, you know, you have to earn it so you know the value of this. So working with his builder, I started mowing lawns while they would sell. And so
Okay.
this
So what did your
quickly
your
grew.
dad was with a construction company, or was
Yes,
he
he was the punch out manager. So he was in charge. My father's a perfectionist. So he was in charge of making sure construction was complete. When the painters were done, he made sure everything was spotless. So he
okay?
he was the guy that inspected.
Yeah.
As that came up, my father, as I mowed lawns, he would make sure, hey, he'd always tell me the last 5% is what either makes it or breaks it for what you're doing. He's like,
Yeah.
anybody can mow a lawn. He goes, the last 5% is what's going to make it for you. So
And what did he
it
mean
started
by
with,
that? Is like the finishing touches or
yeah, the finishing touches, the communication, the
communication?
professionalism to it, you know,
Yeah, love that.
and my father was, just because it's a dirty job doesn't mean you have to be a dirty person or a dirty company. You know, you
Mhm.
have to be, you present yourself how you truly are. And if you can't do that, then that also translates to your work.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So you were
doing
brought
that,
up thinking that
yeah,
way, and did you get your Xbox, by the way?
I did get my Xbox, and this happened right around the recession.
Okay.
And by the time the recession happened, I was doing one house to three houses. It got up to about 50 houses, and this was while I was in high school.
Wow.
The recession hit, and unfortunately, buildings stopped, but I still was mowing lawns. So my father was able to join me, and we grew that. And
Wow.
so that's kind of where the landscaping side of me starts.
Okay.
So again, not knowing anything about landscaping, not, this was a mow blow and go per se, because we had no
Yeah.
real business knowledge. That's actually what pushed me. I enjoyed being outside. I enjoyed the smile and the satisfaction that it brought to people when I saw them come outside and see what we were doing. And I was loving it, learning it. So I decided to go to college and get a degree in horticulture.
Fantastic. And that was in
Yes.
Atlanta. Okay.
So I actually did that. I was at a small community college technical school that was known for horticulture, and luckily in 2010 we competed and we actually won the national championship for it. Yeah.
Oh, that's so
So
cool.
so I got to be part of a national championship team.
And
So
that did that
yes,
really inspire you to do more with it? And
yes,
yeah,
it did.
okay, I can imagine it would. Yeah.
So once I went to college and learned the whole scientific side of it, and I consider myself an eternal student, so just wanting to learn more about this, that's what drove me. And I decided, I was going to branch out on my own. I didn't felt like I needed to be outside of my father's shadow, and I
Okay.
decided to join the corporate world.
Okay.
Did that, started being an operations manager in Atlanta, and then had the opportunity to come out here to Dallas and have slowly grown through it to be director of irrigation, director of maintenance. And like I said, now that I had been the general manager, I thought everything was going to be peachy, and here we are.
I think it's so peachy, but from where
Yes.
I'm sitting, it sounds amazing that you took this leap of
Yeah.
faith and you're
Yes.
skills, your background, and what you wanted to do, and
Yes.
took on. And it sounds like the type of work that you're doing is very high end, but large estates too.
Yes.
It's
Hmm.
big jobs.
Yes.
Love to hear some of the examples that you have on how you're delivering those really white glove services on the properties. If you could give us a few
Of course, yeah.
examples.
So I have, I mean, so of course everybody knows that you're going to be, maintaining, mowing, blowing, but some of our other things, like we discussed before, we do something that I like to call, party perfect,
Yeah,
and that's where we clean, we dust off. Your outdoor furniture, your patios, your grills. We clean the grills, make sure that when you walk out, your landscape is ready and full for
yeah,
you to have fun and enjoy it. You know,
fantastic.
another thing is, I have a couple of my customers that have vegetable gardens. We pick their vegetables and put them in a nice little bowl for them and have them ready so when they get home. Yeah,
That's fantastic. And it's funny. It's a small but meaningful thing that,
it is. It is.
like, I've never thought of that, and maybe we have lots of people that do that, but not that I've actually heard people say, our clients have a vegetable garden and we, you know, pick their vegetables
Yeah,
for them and,
we do.
get them ready so it's not another thing for them to do. I mean,
Yes.
you're saving people time and
Yes.
also probably, maybe, they have a vegetable garden, but just they travel a lot or they don't know
Exactly.
when's
Oh,
the
they
best
do.
time to pick them and or
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. No, and I have customers that, come May, they're leaving town, they're gone till September. And so,
mhm,
I don't want them to have to worry about anything. You know, we have I have a customer that, I reached out, let him know that their windows were dirty and he wanted me to schedule it for him, have him cleaned and deal that for him. And again, like you and I have discussed, I want to be that person that you can rely. That it's not just landscaping, your exterior, I'm there. I want to be a resource for my clients and also building that relationship with the client of it's not just a transaction, but to your point, it's saving time.
yeah. Well, and I think it takes a while, to build that trust, and you've obviously done that to be able to A, keep the clients during the
Yes.
transition, and this was less than
Yes.
a year ago, everyone. I mean, this is
Yes.
pretty amazing what Federico has done in, like, less than a year, but in a few you said you only had a
Yeah.
few days to talk to the
Yes.
clients and say, "This is what's happening. Will you stay on?" You also had to earn the trust of the people that would go along with you, the
Yes.
employees
And
of the
that
previous
that
company.
was that was huge. I had to, build trust with them, and that trust was built when I first came in as the general manager and showing them that I was there to be, to respect them and treat them as human beings, because I saw it the same way, being in their shoes when someone's saying, "Hey, there's no guarantee here. You need to provide for your family, but trust me, we're gonna make this." And to this day, those guys, I mean, they hold a special part in my heart because without them, I could not do what I'm doing today.
Did they all go with you? What?
Yes, all the ones that wanted to stay were able to stay with me,
Yes.
and we moved forward. And like you said, I mean, I had 3 days to shut it down. Well, 2.5 days, and 5 days to figure it out. And I mean, it was a whirlwind. I was at a dealership on the weekend trying to buy a truck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you needed vehicles
You're
for the whole
yes, mhm,
team, and oh my
yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, and small tidbit, but actually pretty nice is actually one of my vehicles that we run on the fleet. I was actually able to buy from auction from my previous company from the liquidation sale. So it's
Good.
kind of full circle
Yeah.
because it though the company is gone, we still have a piece of it that still runs with us every day.
Wow. Well, and it struck me during our conversations that, private equity, is doing what it's doing, but it's not all roses. Like some people think
Yes.
that that's the be all and end all of having your own landscape business is to get taken over by private equity. I think that there are private equity firms that maybe don't know as much about our industry,
Yes.
and it's maybe more challenging than you think.
Yes. And I mean, you've talked to me like you came from Europe. You've seen the things in Europe, and it's like the same thing. A lot of these private equity guys, they have MBAs from wonderful schools, but not every business is the same. And like we said earlier, the landscaping world, you know, it's a living organism. It's not something that you can put on a spreadsheet and think that that's all you need to do with it. There's many nuances. It's like I, you have things that you can't plan for, like any other business, but in the landscaping field, you have to be able to quickly adapt and
It's a bit more.
that yes, it's a bit more.
It's a
Yes.
bit more. Well, you think of what your dad did with
Yeah.
house building.
Yeah.
Yes, weather affects house building,
It does.
but only to a certain point, and then you're working inside. Once everything's waterproof and buttoned up, you have a runway that the
You
weather
do.
does not affect you. We don't ever
Yes.
get that
No, we don't. We do
if you're
not.
doing
And
designing in the office.
yes. Well, yes, and sometimes, I mean, for other people, when there's bad weather, oh, well, we're gonna stay inside. For me, you know, it's going to freeze. All hands on deck. We start need to cover things.
Yes,
There was a storm that happened. All hands on decks. We have to
clear
go
up.
figure out, storm damage, cleanup. We have to figure this out quickly. And, the elements, it brings a level of surprise to it, but also it's a level of learning. Like I said, I'm an eternal student, and not every day is going to be the same. Not every month is going to be the same in what we do. And doing this, that's where the satisfaction comes for me is, you know, I I'm always having to be challenged and learning how to bridge the gap from my problem to that solution. And these high-end customers, that's the same thing. Oh, well, you know, I was I was picked to have this party in 2 weeks and I need this done in 10 days. Okay, well, let's figure it
Is
out,
it possible? Yeah.
Yeah. If money's not the issue, can you do this?
Yeah. Do you have enough
Yeah,
people? Do you have enough hours in
exactly.
the day?
Yes.
Well, I liked what you said. I think you mentioned it earlier. You're very discerning on taking on new clients.
Yes.
Could you elaborate on that a bit?
Of
And
course.
yeah,
Yeah, oh, yes, of course. I mean, so, when you go to, I've worked for other private equities before, and it's, whatever we can get, there's a dollar goal that you have to hit. But, now, and with what I do, I have to be selective with the clients that I bring. Like I said, I can't just dilute it because I'm chasing money. And a lot of it is, the, for two reasons. One, the crew, we have safety trainings, we have educational of horticultural practices. If you were to take one of my crews and try and put them on a gas station, number one, they would make it look the best, like the best gas station you've ever seen, but also it wouldn't be cost effective. But the other thing too is, the client's not going to want to see, the white glove touch on a gas station. They're not going to feel like you truly are what you're telling them that you are, you know?
okay. Yeah, your
So
brand
the
is
yeah, is exactly. It's the
not what
brand.
you're
But
saying
the other
maybe.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah. And the thing is, it's, I mean, we all need money to survive, but at the end of the day, you have to stick to what you believe in. If you teach your clients and you teach your employees to believe in what we are, which is a high quality, high end residential company, that's what we need to be. And we have to, the same way that any client is going to vet us and figure out if we're good for that, a good fit as a landscape, you know, as a landscape company, we have to vet our clients and make sure that it's going to be a good fit for us.
Yes.
And sometimes that's one thing that we forget is it needs to be a good fit both ways, not just because there's a transaction of money happening, but it has to be beneficial for both of us.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And yeah, how do you think that's easy for you to do? I mean, I guess you've been doing that a while and no.
It's not easy. It's not easy because I can tell you of many situations where I've liked the person, we've talked about things, and the vision is there, but when it comes down to either financials or the foundation of the property, we're not in a position where that's going to align. And I rather be transparent and let that person know from the get-go that, hey, the vision is there, but I'm not going to overpromise and under deliver to you something that you're going to be mad about 6 months from now,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And, that's the biggest lesson that I've had to learn is, like I said, is the transparency and being able to humble yourself and humbling the company and the client and being frank to one another and saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is how we believe we can do it. And do we agree on this? And, many people, when I ask for, when you tell someone that you're doing a free estimate, they believe that you're going to walk around for 30 seconds and come up with this little number when when I want to go meet and I meet a new customer, this is a 2-hour walk through your property. Where we're discussing, true horticultural practices, what has been done right, what has been done wrong,
Okay.
what are the next things that we're going to do for the next 2 years, and how do you feel about that,
Okay.
and just because you own an estate that's $10 million doesn't mean that you care about the landscape. You might just want
In the
someone to
way
come.
that, yeah,
Yeah.
in the way that you want to take care of it. Yes.
Exactly. And we're not the lawn guys. We're not just the guys that come and push a mower. We're here to elevate the beauty of your estate. We're here
Entire
to
estate.
elevate, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, in your property.
And so it sounds like you're not afraid to tell people, no, we will not do that.
No, no. And it comes back, like I said, we have a website, but my website's not there for you to try and, sell ourselves to someone and get as many leads as possible. It's there for the people that know who we are, what we do, and actually want us to reach out to them or they reached out to us. So it's kind of hiding in plain sight.
Well, I did. It's funny when we had the call and I was like, oh, I'll check out the company. And I was like, oh, I don't know much about it after
Yeah.
looking at the website, which is so cool that you are in that place that don't need to sell and convince people. It's a bit, I had somebody describe it as a dance. You
Yes, it
have
is.
to be partnered with the right person. If
Yes.
one's a stronger dancer than the other one, then, it doesn't look
Yeah.
right. Or if,
Oh, for sure.
one likes to go fast and one likes, or you can't get the beat, one person can't get, you know, it's about that in life and relationships. Why not for partnerships in, you're taking care of their property.
Yes.
They have to be, happy to relinquish maybe some control or some ideas of
Yes.
their own to let you do that. And I think it's some businesses struggle with that all the time. It's so great to see, young business owner, new business owner. I
Yes.
didn't know that you'd had a business before, but that probably
Yeah,
helped.
it did.
It gave you a different perspective of
Of
just
course.
mowing grass. And
Yes.
so it's hard to have that strength and
Yes.
tell people no. And I think as an industry, we probably need to do that more.
Well, and I think that's the biggest thing that I see in our industry is, we instead of, to your point, it's a dance, and a lot of the times people are willing to bend over backwards to show the customer that yes, we care about you, but in the end it becomes detrimental to the industry and the company, because now people believe that we're inferior to them when in reality we're equals in this relationship.
Yes. Yes. I love that.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and we're, you know I've had it before. I've worked in the commercial side too, where, oh well, we give the bid to the lowest bidder. Well, the lowest bidder sometimes is not bringing the same, quality, is not bringing the same bang for your buck, when in reality, the the most expensive person could actually be giving you double the amount of service, double the amount of attention, and it's actually, if
The
you base it on
ROI is,
units, you're actually, yeah, your
yeah, it's
ROI is
much
higher.
better. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you and I were discussing, in our previous talk, you know, part of that is, I'm trying to bring that ROI to my clients, with communication, with weekly emails, weekly text, we try and bring everything to them where they don't have to wonder and question what's happening on their property, but they already know
Hey.
proactively what is happening.
Yes. I mean, but that must take a lot of time and effort.
It does. It does. It does.
And are you sending those out, or you
Yes.
delegate to other team members? Okay, so you're writing to your all of your
Mhm.
clients every week.
Yes. So I myself visit these properties every week, because I want them to know that from the lowest person on the team to the owner, weekly we're on that property. I know that as we expand, that's not going to be the case, but also part of it will be that they can have a direct line to me, because, you know, everybody needs to know where your money's going. You know, it's not just this faceless entity that you get a bill in your email and you pay it and you don't even know where this is going. You know, a big thing. So, my wife is a dyslexia interventionist for one of the counties here. And, as an owner now, I'm able to, so I donate for the car line, I donate drinks, I donate things back to the community, because again, these children that might not have anything could be the future leaders we're going to have tomorrow. It comes, it starts from the from the early stages to now. We need also, I was going to say, as an industry, we need to give back and educate people that this isn't just a blue collar job that you go do when you don't want to go to college.
Yes,
This is an industry, like we said. I mean, we're equals. We're not inferior. We're not just, for the uneducated, you
exactly.
know?
Well, look at the science that you've brought to your job. I'm sure you're using that on a daily basis when you're talking to
Yes.
people. So, yeah, I mean, it's science. It's a STEM
Yeah, it is.
career,
It
and
is.
so many aspects of what we're doing.
No, and that's the biggest thing, is like, and you said it perfectly. It's to educate. Even that relationship with the client is to educate your customers of why we're doing this. Some people, I mean, going back to create murder, some people prefer, they think that that's the right thing to do to it, and it's not. You have to educate your customer of why we're not going to do that, why we're going to selectively prune them. The vision we have is not going to be done in a 2-day process.
Yeah,
This could happen in 18 months, 2 years,
to do it
but we'll get
right.
there.
Yeah.
An example I had told you before, I have a customer with a desert willow that is going to take us 3 years to move it 6 inches, little by little, to get it to look perfect for her porte cochere.
Yeah, yeah, and that's doing it
Yes,
right for the
exactly.
tree, for the longevity of the tree, for the look, for the stability of the tree. I also liked, and I can't remember what type of plant it was that you're actually rotating every time you
Oh
visit.
yes.
What was
So
that
I
one?
have a customer that loves Japanese maples, but some of the areas don't get full sun. So I developed a small little process so I can rotate that plant each week about 15 degrees. So that way it gets enough sunlight and it doesn't become too, phototrophic. and one side looks too bad. So every
Yeah.
week we're rotating 15 to
I mean, that is just, just these little things, and it's not a little thing, it's a big thing, but
yes.
it in the scheme of the time that it takes to do
Yeah.
it is a
Hmm.
small thing, but it's huge for plant health. It's huge for
Yes.
the you know, connecting the dots from what the client
Yes.
wants and how you're gonna get them to that.
Hmm. Yes.
I just think it illustrates what you're doing and how good you're doing it, how thorough you are. And I like how you talk about our industry as being living, and I think it that that explains it in so many ways. It's the plants, but it's also the
Yes.
people and relationships, and
Yes.
the people
Of
that you
course.
took with you to this new company, the clients that you were able to keep on with this new company, says a lot about you, Federico. So,
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
it means that yes, you built trust in all these people at different perspectives and relationships with you to be able to run this business. So, and not even a year in. So,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, you're a true leader.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, this has been fantastic. We're excited to have you on the podcast, and then maybe what we can do is we can get some photos of some of your work, your team,
Of course.
and
I
we
would
can
love.
turn this into an article in a future issue and shout all these great things about what you're doing.
Of course, ma'am.
Thanks, Federico. And what we'll also do, we'll put a link to your website in here, and everybody can see how you're hiding in plain sight.
Yes, exactly.
Love that. Well, look
Yes.
forward to meeting you sometime. You're only
Yes.
there in Dallas. We're in Lafayette. So, yeah, hope we can meet in person sometime too.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks for joining us today, Federico.
Not a problem.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
See you again soon.
See ya.